Hello, and welcome to Smiley's. Tonight, we are once again tackling OST, the fourth book in the Darujhistan Empire. This is our second episode, and we'll go from chapter 13 to the end. I'm joined by Mora. Hello, Mora.
Hi, Lee.
How are you tonight?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Just a spoiler scope for this will include the entire Book of the Fallen plus entire OST.
Yep.
Yeah. So did you enjoy your reread?
I did, yes, quite a lot actually. OST used to be on my list until there's a sale, and I think that is still true. And now I see why. So it's quite an enjoyable book, quite fun. There's a lot of we'll talk about this because we talked about it in the first episode as well. But there's a lot of cryptic stuff and vague shit that you just don't quite get on the first read.
Mm-hmm.
And there's quite a bit of foreshadowing for future books as well, indirectly, because the characters don't appear again, but some of the things brought up do. And it's very fun to it's a fun read. At the end of the day, it's a fun read because you know these characters, you've seen them before. It's clear that Esslemont knows Darujhistan a lot because I think he created it anyway, and he really likes the setting. And just it's nice to be back. You know, it's good to be back in the city of Blue Fire.
Yeah.
And let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. How about you?
The Blue Fire is muted now, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah. My read was okay. I don't know, of all the novels, this one was not at the top for me. I don't know why. I don't know, the Segule and everything is interesting, but somewhere there was a miss somewhere. I didn't really enjoy it as much as the other books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Right. Well, shall we get into the review then?
Yeah,
a bit
sure.
more in depth. So, did anything in particular stand out to you that you wish to talk about?
Yeah, can we just finish it? Can we just explain what this almost thing was?
Okay.
Because I finished the book and yeah, go on.
So I'm gonna go on about this in a slightly roundabout way. So we see that whoever this witch is, right? She appears. She lives at the edge of town. She smokes a lot and stuff. And Kruppe visits her, right?
Yes.
Now I have a question for you. We see the tyrants rise, and we hear the call, right? And we see Morgan, who takes fairly drastic measures to stop herself from being, cold. We see Baruch, who doesn't actually manage to stop himself and does get cold, and then the whole thing with Baruch and Al happens. And that leaves one, who we know to be Darujhistan.
The who?
Darujhistan, the witch of Stennis.
Didn't she die?
No.
In Gardens? Wait.
She's the last of the third of the three members of the Cabal.
Is that?
And if you read on the end of chapter 21,
she mentions the name. She asks for her hookah or something.
Yes.
Why is she talking?
You might say, why is she talking like this?
Yeah.
So for one, the thing that she's probably mentioning is the tyrant's rise, and two, you may notice she is virtually permanently high in the book.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for this is actually fucking hilarious because the reason she's permanently high is because of Kruppe giving her drugs, so she's so stoned that the fall doesn't actually beckon her to the tyrant.
Oh god, that's okay. Yeah, that is one way. Why couldn't Vodka do this fun thing, Why did she have to go through watercolor chains? but still, what does almost now mean?
I think it just means she foreshadows different events in the city. Almost. And then the tyrant arises.
She's losing the high. Sorry.
Could it be also that? Could be also. It's like almost like the tyrant arises soon because we see Eben near the excavation site. Then almost the Segule arrive. Almost Morantha arrive. Almost Kruppe deposes the tyrant.
Is there some relevance each time she says almost, like something plot related is happening side by side? Is that what's going on?
I think so, but it's more so like, there are a few situations in which she advises Kruppe. Like there is at some point where she tells Kruppe to go find the Malazan, and then Kruppe goes and finds Barathol and tells him that he's favored from burn.
Yeah.
And because she is a witch of Dennis. And
so she is that witch in Memories of Life?
I think so. The wiki entry is different, but I think it's the same person. Yes.
Okay.
So
was there any way I could have guessed this?
I mean,
did you?
Not the first time. No, I didn't.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's good.
She's like the only member of the Cabal that we don't see, and everyone knows her as a witch. You can kind of piece it together.
I mean, assuming that you don't think that she's dead, like me.
Assuming you don't think that she's dead, yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the. To be fair,
So,
Ro didn't actually put it together either. And when I told him like 2 weeks after the fact, like, what the fuck, are you serious? No. Yeah. So
oh, yeah, yeah.
a lot of people miss it. It's actually one of my favorite bits about the book, that she's so
But
stoned because Kruppe is supplying her with
but
drugs.
no, that is the fun part. But this almost now still, it doesn't really. Anyway, I probably a reread will help.
I
Maybe.
mean, she's stoned as fuck, so she's just waxing prophetic while stoned. So that's really it, mostly.
But those are very creepy scenes when Krupp visits her and they have all
It
this.
is. It is.
Oh, it's pretty creepy. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
Krupp is.
fair city, the things I do for you and stuff.
So right. So he's an enabler. Krupp is an enabler here.
I mean, he's a fence, right? That's his profession. He's a fence for stolen goods.
Yeah. Yeah. Occasionally he puts down tyrants, but his
Yeah.
day job is.
So now that
Right.
we set that aside, yeah.
Yeah.
Next big question.
Yeah.
What? I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Oh, okay. I go through my questions, right? So let's just finish Malakai. His
Alright.
cutter. Is there any
Okay.
any point against him being cutter?
Well, let's see here. Cutter at the end
He's
of all
what?
the hounds. I'm going to start listing reasons about different things about Cutter. So there is no
Right.
consensus in this.
Mhm.
I've heard the theory a few times. I've shared it myself a few times. I'm not entirely sure if it is or isn't Cutter. I don't know if there's any authorial discussion behind the scenes about who it is and why, if it is or isn't Cutter. And I think it's mostly down to personal preference, because I can see it being good if it isn't Cutter, and I can see it being good if it is. So I haven't even reached a preference in this reread. I'm not even sure if I like it being Cutter or not.
Mhm.
Okay, so it
Why
tracks
not?
to be
Like,
Cutter. If you think
right.
about it, it would make sense, because at the end of the crippled god, he appears in Khan with Absalar and with like a
Yeah.
bucket of flowers, and they meet together and stuff. So it
Does he
would
have
make sense.
flowers there?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
No,
But
I don't
it
think
would
so.
make sense if he did.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So
An offering from their their
yeah, from the story she
voyages in
said
time.
first. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
The issue I have with the theory is that a lot of Stolen Hounds is essentially Crocus shedding the moniker of Cutter.
Yeah.
And so while Malachi has a lot of the skills that we see Cutter develop, like if you see he has this knife thing where the knife just randomly appears in his hand,
Yeah.
which we've seen Cutter do a lot.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense to me that he would be so cold and nonchalant and just, kill people because it tickles him purple or whatever. Yeah, I don't think it would make sense for him to go off and steal something from an artifact like that. Like Moonspawn is a big thing, and he'll just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go head like 2 streets down and steal something from Chalice or whatever, from the Restoration family. It's like a big thing. The spawns are a big thing. So the reason I have for it to not be Gutter is because Malachi's story essentially boils down, like regardless of who it is, what Malachi's story boils down essentially is hubris against the gods, because he went to Moonspawn, which is an ancient artifact which contains like thousands of years of treasure and loot and paintings and artwork and general like trinkets of anti-civilization. And his first thought isn't preservation or like worship or whatever. It's to defile the place. It's to steal. And his reasoning, at least his stated reasoning, is because he wanted to outdo a god. Because Absalar tried to do the same and failed, and so he would outdo the Mistress of Thieves.
Yeah.
This could be figurative if it's Cutter, right, of course, because his girlfriend's named Absalar.
Yeah. That makes sense. But
It could be literal if it's not Cutter.
maybe he was just there to find, the gardens just for Apsalar's sake. It was literal because he does find some plants and stuff which are dead.
The other thing is, if you notice, Cutter, yeah, I mean, you mentioned something about the gardens and how he would find
Yeah.
them, and there was like
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second. So the other thing is, we view Malachi almost exclusively through Ansi's perspective,
Yeah.
and Ansi, for one, Ansi is blind as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
You
two,
do.
he really doesn't trust Malachi,
Yeah.
and he probably doesn't like him much, and so.
True.
I think at some point, like we said in the last episode, that he says, "Oh, he's a killer." And Colray just asks, like, "When was the last time you saw him kill someone?" And then Ant's like, "Oh, well, it was at the dogs." Well, yeah, of course he'd kill someone with the dogs when they're jumping him and they're like defenseless drunks or whatever. Here,
Yeah.
no. And so kinda makes sense for it to be Gutter. Then again, a lot of his abilities that border on magic are more difficult to explain, if it is, because Gutter doesn't have a magical ability.
Is that like really magical ability?
We
Because,
did go over this, about like how he might have some alchemist stuff from Baroque, or how like
he just has shadow vision. He doesn't need alchemy anymore.
or that. I don't know. It's like up to you, really.
Hmm.
But the bit
Yeah.
about like finding the wizard gardens and like seeing them being in ruin and then being disappointed, it tracks with the theme of it being hubris, right? Because regardless of why he's here, this is still a sacred place you shouldn't be defiling for your own purposes.
Hmm. Maybe he doesn't look at it as, defiling
Perhaps not,
because,
but he does very explicitly say he's here to steal, not like borrow or take or whatever. Because Absalar is the mistress of thieves, not mistress
I
of
mean, it's like
gardeners.
a broken, washed up moon spawn. So who cares?
Yeah,
Nobody knows that anything is surviving inside. So,
well,
right.
that's fair.
So it's, yeah, fine. So
So we
you have
conclude
your
that it could be
reasons.
Cutter or it maybe isn't Cutter, and it doesn't really say it. It doesn't really tell us. But
Right.
I like the theory. So if you want to
Mhm.
believe it's Cutter, please believe it's Cutter because it's fun. At the end of the day, it's fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a, a nice thing to think about that Cutter went all the way to Moonspawn just to check the story which Upslar has told him.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels, it adds to the ending in Cripple God
Yeah.
that he took a quick detour.
Yep.
Yeah. So, right. So that was Malachi, and we have made our choices. What about this
Yeah.
other guy, the Mon fellow?
I mean, I think you said it's Draconis, and I mostly
It is
concur.
Draconis. I do not want to hear anything
I
against
don't
that.
think I don't know of any other candidate it could be. I mean, Draconis was mentioned early on. We talked about it with Henry's reading.
Hmm.
Mother
He
Dark
even
asks
says,
about him.
yeah, yeah. He even says that he's committed somewhere else and he has to go
Yeah, he's
quickly.
like a shadow of a shadow. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
weak. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's probably Draconis. I don't think there's any debate here.
But why do they have all these weird names?
I think Morn might mean something that we just don't know what it is exactly.
Hmm.
Because the name clearly
Because
meant something Mother Dark, right? It
to
wasn't like,
her,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, she asked it twice, correct, yeah.
who knows? So let's before we continue, let's talk Tren. Right, Tiren. It's Tiren more specifically. So
So
let's talk about
Tyran,
Tiren. Yeah.
Tren. I like Tren. I don't want to say Tyran.
Well, it's Tiren if you want to be a stickler like I am, because it's like T-Red, T-Ool and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, so Tatian comes back, right? He gets his memory back. He follows Kiska, leaving behind Leoman, and they come
Mhm.
all the way to the sea Drek somewhere. Can we just take a quick stop? How does
Yes.
Tatian communicate with Drek?
Um.
He
See, here's the
specifically
confusing bit.
says he doesn't talk to her. That's not the way he communicates. So yeah, go
The
on.
confusing bit is in the Bone Hunters, Drek killed her under priesthood, right?
Yeah,
So there are no priests of Drek except for Banashar and Typhon.
yeah.
The other thing is the snake, the Jagmanagal, is a manifestation of Drek.
The what snake?
The Ruby Snake, Jagmanagal, the Galati children, Badal, Rut,
He said, is it
Sadek.
supposed to be? Oh,
Yes, yeah.
okay.
So it's basically a way for Drek to regain power because she doesn't have a priesthood anymore.
Mhm.
Sort of like what happens with the crippled god. Anyway, we're getting
Yeah,
off
yeah.
track. The point is, it's not clear, and the implication is since he jumped into the fucking pit, right? Which is as this creepy old lady was probably meant to be some manifestation of Drek or something.
Yeah.
Says the worm is essentially coiling at like the bottom of the world. It's the thing that holds the world together.
Yeah.
It's the bringer of seasons. It's like the harbinger of change, stuff like that. So what I imagine happens is he enters some sort of meditative state at the bottom of whatever the fuck he finds,
Mm.
and there's some sort of discussion rather than hi, and But then again, a lot of Drake's festivals in Cartool are weird. If you've read like the Prologue of the Bone Hunters, or well, I think Dead House Landing deals with that a lot. So yeah, like there's a lot of like I think Hallian mentions orgies at some point in the Bone Hunters. So there's a lot of weird shit going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if something sinister is going on with Daishin.
I mean,
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it sinister, but yeah, that's, a different way of communication between priest and the goddess.
yeah.
Or god. I don't know, Drake could be a god in some
Drake
places,
is
isn't
both.
it?
Drake is both. Yeah.
Both. Just like I think this is a nice segue to go. No, we can't
Yeah.
go to Krell yet. So, right. So, this station at the end, whatever he does, he sacrifices himself and looks different and all that.
Mhm.
He has absorbed Krell inside him. And so, this is like a manifestation of Krell and Tishran
Mhm.
at the same time, is what I think.
So I brought this up before, and what I think is happening is in the start of the Crippled God, Krull has to make some plans. He meets with males, he brings back Heboric, he sets up the whole thing, he asks the dragons to do their thing so the warrants will fall apart while he's away.
Mhm.
And then he changes the female. And then he manifests Darujhistan because blood has been spilled in the temple. And the thing is, if Korabas gets loose and gets within any distance of Krull, Krull's gonna die, right? I mean, he already has the problem, or she, I guess. She already has the problem of Kamen Sod's poison running through her veins all the time. She's already weak as hell. She's basically permanently bleeding, figuratively and literally. She's
Yeah.
not going to be able to withstand, in her current state, Korabas' influence. And so Tayshran needs to be called up, who is probably the most powerful mage in the whole generation, save for, like, I don't know, Beak or Sin if you want to count them, but Tayshran is much more collected and capable and more versed in, like, the mystical arts, because he's like the only person that entertains these ideas of, yeah, there's like a mystical side to the manipulation of warrants. And so, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, sorry. And so Dacian essentially has to step up and assume the mantle of the god of the warrants in order to keep the cycle going, in order to keep Krull alive. And that's why Krull changes to female. There's more reasons, but like that's the main significant reason as to why Krull is female, because something is going to happen to her that's going to change her fundamentally. And the question is, at this point, is how much of this did Dacian see and how long ago?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the Bone Hunters, he talks with Drag. Okay, and like there's this whole scene with Shadow Throne at the end, in which he goes like, I can just leave you to the worm and she'll kill you. And like, yeah, well, no, she's not gonna kill me. What? I talked her out of it. God damn it, how I hate you and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we have Return of the Crimson Guard, in which he just stands aside and does nothing. And as Cal steps into the picture to challenge him and say, "What the fuck are you doing? Fight me, you coward!" He tells him that, what's the quote, Mora?
The absolute power, what leads into powerlessness or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what could be more absolute than the attainment of being the god of the Warrens? So something needs to change. And that something is Senaj. He needs the other guy. Because I think the name that he's given, Senaj something, I don't know exactly what it is, which means gift of creation,
Yeah. Yeah.
isn't an accident. He's not just a gift from creation. He has the gift of creation.
Mm-hmm.
He can create the warrants. He can give life. He can grant his gift to Chorus so that he can make Darth Vader as well.
Yeah.
Tyshawn essentially, after his world endeavor and after he becomes Senaj and after he returns because of the whole machination of Chris, he is absurdly powerful.
Yeah.
And he is the only person that can see this through. He says so to Kiska, like, this is only I can do this, right? And this is something I should have done a while ago. And so he goes to the inner sanctum of Krull's temple, meets with Krull, merges with her, and becomes the new god of the Warrens. And I think, and this is the important bit, that the Krull that we see at the very end, when Heboric wakes up to bring Korabas into the barrow under the oceans, that's Ren.
Okay. But
That's
it's
my
not,
theory.
that's not the name that is used there, is it?
No, they don't name drop. He says he's Krull, but it
Okay.
wouldn't mesh, you know.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I was curious whether the name trend comes back again or right. But yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what I think of Trent. So I think from what you said, you basically agree with me.
Yeah, that totally makes sense because that's the only reason he had to be brought back, and that's why the Queen of Dreams and everyone is involved to get him back.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, it would have been fun to have more of him later on, as the series goes, to see more of Trent. But yeah,
I think he's going to be important, right? I think he's going to be fairly important, seeing as he's the literal god of the Warrens now, you know.
The remaining two books, are we going to see Trent?
No, because they mostly happen in concurrence with OST. So, well, except for Sail.
Oh.
Sail is
Oh.
mostly, yeah. But no, not yet.
Right, done. So we finished Trent.
That's
So
Trent.
yeah, do you have something to bring up?
Oh boy, if I bring up the Morant and the Segula, we're never gonna stop. So do you have anything other to bring up
Yeah,
before we get
yeah,
to
I
that?
do. Yeah. Yeah, because the last time we spoke, I was sort of disappointed about Scorch and Left. Like I was asking, what's the point of them?
Yep.
Why do they exist and all that? But yeah, turns out they are very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to see that there was some point to have there, because after a point they got boring and sort of. I mean, how long can you keep reading about two people being so annoyingly dumb? But yeah, it was fun because ultimately they are the ones who took down the tyrant, isn't it?
Yeah,
Regardless of all the other things that happen.
with the slivers
So,
of death.
sorry, the yeah. So this is the whole thing, right? Because Krupp and Baruch have saved up pieces of Dragnipur in safely, and then Krupp steals it, gives it to Humble Measure and Barathol, and they forge these crossbow um, arrowheads or something, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what Scorched Left used to take down the tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
this is the whole thing. So this is fun to put together. The whole thing is behind the scenes. All you
Yeah.
see is the what happens, but you don't know exactly how this whole thing is happening. So that is fun to read. Scotch and Left.
Okay. Well,
Do you want to tell me what the what do you call the automaton thing is?
it's you'll learn in the first chapter of Blood and Bone. So
Oh, okay, okay, fine. Then it's okay. First chapter,
yeah.
right? So yeah, shall we go to the Moranth?
Okay. All right. So, oh boy, I would hear your impressions first before we go off in a wild tangent.
Regarding
Both of them. I don't know.
okay, so right, so we find out. I mean, we had some idea about their origins and stuff when we spoke for the first episode. So right, so the Moranth and the Segula have some kind of history, right? So they have been neighbors, or probably are they from the same clan or something? No, they're just
No,
neighbors.
the Segula are a creation of the tyrant, so no, they're not neighbors.
Right. So basically, the tyrant and whatever his army and everyone have chased away the Moranth from the dwelling plains, and so they have to retreat up their mountains, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. After all these years, they have somehow domesticated the coals, and they've improved their alchemies a lot. So they're at a different level now, and these guys have no idea. The tyrant and the Segule and everyone, they really have no idea about what's happening with the Moranth, which is sort of like a recurring theme. Things change and people differ throughout Malazan. Uh, Especially, I don't know, I keep coming back to Crimson Guard and their irrelevance as time goes on. So, right here, things have changed, and instead of fleeing the plains, the Morant have every capacity to come back and take over the Rajasthan if they want. So, right. So once the tyrant is up, Galin mentions it nicely. Like there is no quarter given. There is not going to be any negotiation. The tyrant just wants to chase us away, and so we are going to kill him first. Isn't that her stand? That they're not even going to wait and see whether they're winning or losing or anything. So that's with the Moranth. And yeah, the Segule is it's quite sad. So you were right, Jan and Paula, they were the couple, not not Mock and Paula like I thought. So am I jumping too much? Should we stay? Is there something
Oh
more with
no,
the Moranth?
no, it's fine. It's fine.
We do have the Malazan Segule fight with the Moranth coming in with their air force and bombing the shit out of the Segule. That was extremely sad to read.
Wow,
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, I cried actually. But, and we see everything through Bend and the Butcher, isn't it? Oh, that
Yeah.
boy's arc is so well done. It's I didn't even like notice that he's changing so much, and by the end he becomes like a proper veteran, isn't it? He
Mm-hmm.
just says all the same to us soldiers. It's just another day of soldiering and all that. Hector's death, yeah. That oh god, all the deaths were quite sad, isn't it? We had so few deaths, and they were each one was quite sad.
And they're all fucking completely glorious, right? If you think about it, like there's Stepan gearing up for like a last stand to buy them time, and it just gets eviscerated in 20 heartbeats.
Oh god, yeah.
You
Oh
have Hector
Stefan.
just dies pointlessly. You have Segula also die pointlessly because the Malazans are just bait. Like the Malazans
Jan
are simply
like
there.
sacrifices
John,
himself.
yeah.
Oh,
Like every death in this book is meant to be inglorious and just sad and poignant because this is what this book is about, really. That these two
yeah.
peoples are locked in a millennium-long war and for no reason because of the machinations of one tyrant, right?
Yeah, there's not going to be any like winners or losers here, right? Because
Yeah,
it's all
right. Mhm.
they're just destroying each other. So yeah,
So do you
the
have
whole
anything more? Yeah, keep going.
yeah, I was just going to continue with that,
Yeah,
but that's
sorry, go
fine.
on.
Yeah, the whole Benton's story point of view, because Have you noticed that Esslemont writes these young, naive characters going through
I
these
have. Yep, yep.
transformative arcs, which are,
Yeah,
oh
there's
God, they're so
Kyle,
good.
there's Soph, there's Brendan,
Yeah,
there's
even Kiska from,
even
from
Kiska.
Night
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Knives.
there's Knives. Yep.
These are really good. I know I should keep a watch out for characters like that, who start out because I thought this is some annoying little know-it-all type of soldier boy and all that, but yeah, it was good. This is a good arc to follow.
I think it's about time, unless you want to touch upon something like more of like USEC, because we haven't talked about USEC yet.
Yusek and Sal, oh yeah, I think I've told you this even last time, but
You did show them
they're
last time, yeah.
they did, yeah. I mean, they are together, so win-win for me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're fun to read, and I always like. No, it's always fun to have these military training things and all that. Like she's taught how to her stance and her just the whole military what do you call the training thing like Karate Kid or something. I find it very fun actually.
Hmm.
Yeah, go on. That's my point.
So yeah, what I wanted to say, like, if we're gonna talk about the Segula, we have to mention Dassam.
Yes, finally, because yeah, last time it was hard not to bring him up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I knew that Traveler is the Segule first, right? Before I started the book, and I assumed he's going to like kill the tyrant and become the first. That was my working theory, and yeah, this is much better than what I thought of. And yeah, go on.
So I have to say, Dassam becoming the first is probably like one of my favorite endings to any character.
Okay. Is it why you were so disappointed that I knew? Because
Yes,
I was
honestly, yes.
completely thrown. I thought this was the way it's going to happen, that he's going to like actually challenge him and kill him and all that. But this is just politics, isn't it? He
It's
gets
not just
the
politics. It's
mask.
like,
I mean, sort of like it's offered to him and then he is offered, it was sort of like that. So, sorry, go on.
well, I think we talked about this last time, how like the mask of the first is only offered, not taken, or like
Yeah,
challenged
yeah,
for.
yeah.
But the reason I really like it is because Dassam is the only person that can drive the Segula back. Jan is one, but Jan is the second, and Jan has a certain mentality that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
He can't bring the Segula back. He's too guilty. Feels too guilty. Too much self-loathing. Too much
He's,
too much second mentality.
yeah,
Yeah, too much of
correct.
that.
Yeah,
Dassam is the only person that can bring them back, and Jan realizes that, and that's what makes Jan one of my favorite characters from OST. And
definitely. Yeah.
this ending is awesome because finally, Dassam can be at peace.
Yeah.
The Segula
Yeah.
can have peace. They can find their own identity that isn't reliant on being slaves and servants. And god damn it, I can point to this ending and say, stop saying Dassam is like for one, he's the best sword fighter, period. But
Yeah.
the reason I really like OST is because, well, one of the reasons, there's many, but one of the reasons I really like OST, especially the Segula thing, is because it really points out how pointless pissing contests in regards to who the best swordsman in Malazan is, how pointless they are. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We shouldn't compare to Segula, like, how good a swordsman, like, oh, this guy could certainly beat Tool, and, like, Dassam could beat Drake in a day, or, like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
I
These
agree.
people
Yeah.
were literally created. They were slaves to the tyrant. They are his anvil and his blade. It destroys enemies. They are his executioners. They are created
Yeah.
to serve. And you're comparing them with a thing like, why? Why? Did you miss the whole point of the book?
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm quite passionate about this matter because I really like Jan, and his sacrifice is a big part of why I think this.
Oh, I was not expecting that. I really thought, till the end he's doing this when he says he has to destroy a friend. At some point, I thought maybe he's like going to like cut down Gal and he feels guilty that he's going to kill the third or something. Yeah.
The bit where he says, like, where he charges like 20 Morans and then says, like, oh, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
That fucked me. That killed
Yeah.
me. That was just, god damn it.
I know. Yeah. And it's all told through this 100th, isn't it?
And then it all gets worse because then he dies for real. And I hate Cameron. I hate this book.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be happy to hear this feedback.
Yeah. All right. So if we're actually to tackle Segula, I need to go back because we need to go back to the first time we see the Segula, which is the Members of Vice. We see the Segula
With
Members of Vice.
Lady
and
Envy, isn't
three.
it? Oh, can we
There's
talk about the Renegade Segula here? Because,
sure, we can talk
those were
about
the
that.
fun bits here.
We'll talk about that.
And the guy Thurul, is that how you say it?
Thurul, yeah.
Yeah, he's never mentioned my name because Studlock obviously is too high and mighty to ask him his name and all that. Oh, that was so much fun that he starts wearing these colorful clothes and he's still ashamed of showing his face and being dressed up
Mm-hmm.
this way. But Madron and what's his name, Lazar,
Lazandor.
Lazan, sorry, yeah. So these two guys, oh, that was so much fun. I enjoyed Studlock and I enjoyed the whole Renegade Segule thing. Uh, do you remember what Studlock thinks when they turn up with the third guy when they come back with the Thrul?
I actually don't know.
Okay, Studlock looks at them and asks, "Did some one of you bud? Did one of you reproduce and produce a third one?"
All right. Okay.
That's how. Yeah, so that is Studlock, and I mean, I don't know. Each scene is excellent with him, isn't it? I can't,
Yeah, he's like he's in all the hounds. He actually feels like a Segule, and then in this book, he's completely alien to anything we know of. Like he's not a Segule. No.
nobody knows what he is, and even Volkan agrees that she doesn't know
Well, yeah,
what he
I
is.
don't fucking know where he is from. No, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, he saves them all, isn't it? Using his spores, his ant
Yeah,
medicine spores.
yeah.
Yeah, so
No, there's no drink. There's no antidote. No, I don't know. It does exactly what I said it does. Um, detour over. Excuse me.
hmm.
So let's quickly run down the Segway that we know of in like the quote unquote main series of Book of the Fallen.
Yeah, sorry,
There's
memories of ice. Hmm.
There's Mock Thurul and Senu, who
Yeah,
are all ensorcelled servants of Envy.
yeah,
There's the Segula Second, who is a Knight of Hul, Knight of
yeah,
Death.
yeah.
There's the Segula 12th, who is a slave slash champion of Rule and Sengar.
Okay,
There's the aforementioned Madrun, Lazan, and Studlock, who are servants of Organ.
okay.
And there's the handmaiden of Falash in Death of Dreams and the Crippled God,
Yeah,
who is
yeah.
also, yet again, a servant. You may notice a common theme here, and that common theme is servitude.
Yeah,
Each of them is in some shape or form servant. The
yeah.
only Segula that we see that are not servants before this book is Oru Squad in Rhythm of Guard. They
Yeah.
have their own ship, they have their own goals, they have their own mission, they
Hmm.
speak somewhat freely, they're not under the influence of anyone else, they're free, and they act like it.
So, yeah, yeah. So, is it
And
something
so,
like they leave the hometown and anybody walks by and they can take them into slavery or something? As long as they're in Kant, they're doing fine, isn't it?
I don't think necessarily like it's can or not. I think it's subtle foreshadowing that this is what the Segula are. They are created to be servants.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes
Because
sense.
a lot of the discourse in the Book of the Fallen are like, oh my god, they're so good swordsmen. Like, bitch, are you missing the point? Like, every single one of them is servant in one way or the other. All of them. What does it matter if they're
Yeah,
good swordsmen when they don't?
except yeah, the Segula second, the Knight of Hood. I would call him a servant.
He's not a servant, but if you notice how like the house is structured, he's the knight to the king. In a traditional sense, he is just a servant.
Mm, fine,
That's what
fine.
I mean, right?
Yeah, but all the others are, they're compelled to obey. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
No, all the others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily compelled. Like Madrin and Latin and Sadler aren't compelled, but yeah.
True. That's true.
So then along Road to OST, and we have the Golden Father, right? The original first, the tyrant, who
Tyrant. Yeah.
created the Segula to be his blade, an anvil, Segul. And so they were his executioners. They were his soldiers. They were his army. They were his executioners. They were the perfect soldier. And if you notice, they're all wearing masks, right?
Yeah.
Because Jan claims it's to hide their burden, their shame,
Hmm.
which is one thing. But if you notice, the legate is also wearing a mask. But the mask, the difference is, the legate's mask is gold, while their mask is white, ceramic.
Yeah. You said.
The reason I think this, and they also have a very, very strict ranking system, second, third, fourth, fifth, so on.
Yeah.
And the only reason to advance through that ranking system is to beat the guy previous.
Hmm.
All of this points to a society that's structured essentially to function in the utmost utility of the tyrant and the tyrant alone. Is who they are as individuals doesn't matter. Who their name is doesn't matter. What their face is doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how good they are at killing and being soldiers. And that is denoted by their rank.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've kept this ranking system throughout their history and have forgotten its origins is absolutely fucking tragic. And one of the other reasons I really like the storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are incredibly regimented. They are incredibly tight knit. They're very xenophobic. They're very easy to irritate because essentially they're always looking out for threats because the tyrant is very paranoid, and anyone that looks at them funny could be a potential threat.
Yeah.
Because tyrant demands obeisance, and if you don't obey, if you like raise your head or like don't bend the knee, you're gonna get your head sliced off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they are the perfect tools for for tyranny in a city.
Mm-hmm.
To have unquestioning, extremely elite soldiers. So yeah,
what I really like
strange.
about this
Yeah.
is if we view this holistically, we have this one society who covers their faces, is incredibly regimented, is very specialized, is very secluded, is very xenophobic, and is far from home.
Yeah. Are you
And
talking about the
at no
Morant?
point does Cam go, hey, look, these two are very similar. Like, look at
Yeah.
them. The same
Yeah.
people. And I love that. I love that he
Yeah.
doesn't just point out, like, yeah, look, see, did you get it? Did you get it?
Yeah.
He lets you piece it together yourself.
You know what I realized? Cam asks a lot from the reader, isn't it?
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. You are expected to put in the effort. So I
Because
don't
if
know.
you look at the Morans,
Hmm.
I'm sorry. If you look at the Morans, they also cover their faces. They, as
Yeah.
far as we know, the only reason we know they're human is because they say they are, and because we see Twist's hand in Memories of Ice.
We have Corporal Jumpy in Return of the Crimson Guard.
Oh yeah, it's also Jumpy. Yeah, there's also Jumpy.
He's behind the female Morant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Tourmaline was it? Something like that.
I don't know. Like he wonders
Anyway,
if the armor comes off and all that.
at some point I was convinced they're just like insect people, and that's their exoskeleton.
Okay.
I was convinced of that. Anyway, they're also very regimented. They have like their clear divisions in the guilds. The gold and the silver are like the aristocracy. The black are the soldiers. The blues are the sailors. The silvers are like the priests and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a general lack of social mobility. There's very high specialization for very specific things because alchemy and the quarrels to essentially destroy Segula. And the core difference between Morant and Segula is that one has forgotten their history while the other hasn't. Because the Morant Wars happened a millennium ago, and the Morant still remember every goddamn detail and every grievance delivered to them by the Segula.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Because, well, they are a vengeful people. We don't have to look further than like chapter 2 of Guardians of the Moon to see how vengeful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Fine.
There is mention like Memories of Ice or like extensive records that go back millennia. Morant,
With the Morant?
Quick like asks if he asks one Morant if they have any like Mages of Ruse, and the Morant go like not in this like in the last 7 years, centuries, and like they have like extremely long like history.
So they have the
And
science
they're
and
very
tech people, isn't it? So that's why they have they've preserved everything.
But what I think is also interesting about this is, as I said, like it's a matter like one has forgotten, the Segula have forgotten, which is why they're here, but the Moran haven't. And when they see the tyrants still arising, the Segula are marching over the city, it kicks into high gear, shall we say? Shit kicks into high gear. They withdraw entirely from the city. They re-emerge in their mountains and stuff, and they get prepared for an invasion. So what I also really enjoy is a lot of the time, and this is also true, especially true of the Book of the Fallen, is the Malazans go into a conflict and they resolve the conflict with general ease. Okay, like they invade Leatherwood Marines, they try to persuade the Letheri to join their cause. The Letheri aren't particularly interested. And like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna kill them both. Fine, fuck it. And eventually they make peace with like Briz and T-Hole, and they create and so on and so forth. Here in OSD, the Malazans have absolutely no fucking idea what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
I think like
they're hardly there, isn't it? Like they're not the important ones, or they're not the ones who are doing any of the actual moving along of the plot. I don't know. They're just there basically because it's a story about Segula and the Morant and the city.
Precisely. And when they figure out quite how out of depth they are, it's like dread,
Yeah.
When they figure out that they're just bait for the Morans to come. Like the Segula are killing them in droves and like wounding them just because they want the Morans to come fight them. Like Steppen and the fort was just in the way, Like, they decimated an entire legion of Rivi because they were in the way.
Yeah.
And like this out of depthness is very new to the Malazans, and to me it's very fascinating. Right?
Yeah.
I really like this kind of thing where Imperial the Imperials come and try to mediate, but they can't quite understand what the fuck they've got themselves into.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
really shows that the world is so much bigger than you, dude. It's not like you be all end all.
True, true.
There's so much more than just you. There's so much more history than just you.
Yeah.
And it's humbling. But I'm not here to talk about the Morathans. We're here to talk about the Morans of Segula. So, a few more things on the Morans. You may have noticed there's an epigraph at some point, like chapter 16, 17, whatever, which is a Moran saying that we forge our weapons so we may never have to use them.
Yeah, yeah.
What's interesting is, if you notice in the books, in the 2 books that we've seen Morans thus far in Esslemont's novels, there is so many more munitions than what we thought.
Yeah.
Cussers, flamers, crackers, sharpers, whatever the fuck the Morans have, doesn't even scratch the surface of what the Morans have at their disposal. For instance, take the Morans' blue munition that Torvald used to freeze an entire river.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. They have ensorcelled munitions.
The Malazans
We have
don't
never
have
seen.
that.
Yeah, we have never seen that. Yeah.
And the reason is the Morans are not a secluded people because they're xenophobic. The Morans are a secluded people because they don't want to use these weapons against anything else other than the Segula. Their entire culture, all of what they've the quarrels that they've bred, the munitions they've made, all of this isn't for some faraway imperialist empire to use to siege people. It's so that they can decimate and annihilate the Segula because it's kill or be killed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the interesting thing. If they lay down their weapons, either side is probably going to get slaughtered. I think Torvald mentioned this to Gallian. Gallian asks, why can't the Segula just give up their weapons? Well, Torvald just says, you're asking them to do the one thing they cannot do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same on both sides, isn't it?
It's the same on both sides. Yeah, exactly. There can be no reconciliation because, well, if either side gives up, they're going to die. And then tense, massive enmity and spite and hatred that goes so deep because, well, it's not difficult to imagine that all of the records of older generations have been magnified and intensified, and they're demons from the plains that wearing masks and fake warriors riding from the plains. This is not just fantasy. This is too real. This is very real. This shit happens.
Yeah.
Enmity between people for perceived slights, real or otherwise, just grows and grows out of proportion to the point where someone else comes along what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Or even the tiniest of divergences, right? Religion, for instance, or slight differences in culture. And the closer they are, the bigger the enmity is. I think this is the boy made the next book, Blood and Bone. We'll get to that too.
Okay.
Where tiny differences in religion cause a huge rift. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, there is some religion going on in Blood and Bone.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. But what I mean is this isn't just something they made up between okay, we're gonna have two peoples. One is a bunch of masked dudes that own samurai, and the other alchemy wielding insect people. This is real shit. This is very real themes tackled through fantasy, and I really, really like that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I like finding these new depths each time we explore all these people. Because we only see them quite superficially in Book of the Fallen. So it's always fun to find that there are layers. They're not just some mask wearing.
Yeah, when I ask you how does such a society arise and flourish, it's because it doesn't. It doesn't flourish.
It
It's
shouldn't.
not flourish.
Yeah.
It shouldn't flourish. It shouldn't exist like this. It's an anomaly. But
So I'm so happy that it's given a proper explanation.
Yeah.
They have thought about it and they have come up with the proper story for why these people have to exist. Okay, so do you have more to talk about the Morans?
I think one of the questions you had was what was Gallienne trying to summon, and the answer is just she has 2 munitions, one red and one gold. With the red one basically signifies failure. If the Morans assault fails, that means we have leave.
Flare signals, isn't it? So
yeah.
What was she going to summon? I was expecting suicide bombers or something.
I don't know about suicide bombers, but the dome that they have only protects Majesty Hill.
Yeah.
And Darujhistan is much, much bigger than just Majesty Hill. So essentially, they just carpet bomb the entire city to rubble.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That was the goal, which is horrifying. In case you haven't got up, this is not good. This is not good things happening.
Well, shall I talk about how the? Oh, sorry, you
go on. No, go on.
I was talking about how the circle was broken. The circle of alabaster stones.
Yeah.
Fisher and Spindle. They spend hours and hours throwing these ultra strong acids and all that, and then Brood comes along and just Hulk smashes it and walks off. So that is fun. So once the circle is broken, that means the Morans can get in. Is that the point?
Once the circle is broken, the orb is no longer powered, and yeah, the munitions
The
can like
sorcery,
actually have
yeah,
an effect.
yeah. The sorcery is broken there. So yeah, Fisher. What is Fisher? He's not just a bard.
You'll have well, no, technically he is just a
I
bard.
mean, he's not just a bard. He is also,
He is a very special bard.
yeah. He's. How can he be? For one, he recognizes all these guys. So,
Yeah.
so he's quite old. If he's that old, then Karkana spoilers.
Um.
And
In
no, not now. Sorry. And how is he that strong that he can, smash a crossbow on tie and, the crossbow breaks, isn't it?
yeah.
And these Heel brothers recognize him. I have no idea who these Heels are and what's the point of their reunion and all that. Are they going to continue? Is that story going to continue somewhere?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank God. Yeah, fine. That's good. Right. So yeah, tell me about Fisher.
So in Toll the Hounds, Picker mentions that there's a few poems attributed to Fisher that are over 100 years old.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah, Fisher's been around for a while, and Brood recognizes him,
yeah,
and he said like, yeah, you know how I feel about witnessing things. Um, he recognized Baruch, Taya, actually not Taya. He
he
doesn't
doesn't
recognize
recognize
Taya.
Taya. Yeah.
He recognized Ammon, Hinter, everyone else. He presumably knows about Kruppe as well.
I mean, he
They
obviously
don't
knows about
meet,
Krupp because
unfortunately.
what they
Oh no, he does meet Kruppe in Toll the
in
Hounds.
Toll
Yeah,
the
sure.
Hounds.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. My bad. He's also, as you said, like very strong. He's very
And yeah,
uh,
he has to have something extra going on because who else would date Lady Envy and then break up with her and walk
uh,
away in one piece?
there's that, and you've not seen anything yet. There's still more.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I am happy to wait. Yeah, fine.
Fisher is prolific.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. Also, incidentally, Fisher is one of my favorite characters, so there's that. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, the question of who is Fisher will be answered in a later book. So you'll have to wait, unfortunately.
No problem. Fisher is fun, so I'm curious to know what's going on with him. Do we have more stuff?
Oh boy, there's a lot we can talk about. Like there's we haven't touched upon Ansi at all.
Fancy. I mean, what did he do? I have no idea what was the whole point of the whole
So
spawns thing. I mean, oh, we can talk about Mallet. That was a touching
we can talk
scene.
about like your boy being there. You know, a certain
Who's my boy?
tyrant king and like with a goatee, and blackmail armor.
Oh my, yes. That's not my boy. That's my babe. Boklin the
Okay,
babe.
excuse me.
So there is
You were
Boklin
talking.
and
Yeah.
Korval Brooch and Mansi. Mansi the manservant. So apparently they are in Moonspawn too, and Mansi loses one of their luggage into the window of Eternal Dark or something. I was completely thrown seeing these two characters there. I mean, all three of them.
Because like Corbel wants to like make acquaintances with the dead beavers and stuff.
Yeah, that's his thing, isn't it? Like he reanimates the dead bodies and
Yeah.
uses them because he walks the necromancy walks what adjacent to Hood's paths or something.
Yeah.
So that is unexpected and fun. You should read the novel as
I will eventually.
yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned Ansi. I mentioned Ansi. So one reason I think Ansi is like important is for one, I mentioned hubris earlier when I talked about Malachi.
Yeah.
The same is partly true of Corian. No less hubris are more like greed of well, I need money, right? Because well,
He's not greed. He needs money. Like he's not like he wants money. He needs
it's
it,
not like
isn't it?
a noble thing to go and steal. You know, like Ansi professed to the same thing. Like, yeah, I need a retirement fund or something.
But
But
like who are they stealing from? Is it technically
it's
stealing?
not. Well, you're gonna have to discuss it with the archaeologist, not me.
No,
But
but because I didn't think of their actions as in terms of they're doing bad things by going to Moonspawn and looting it because it's broken and it's lying there and I sound a bit like Stillwater, don't I? So it's just there for the taking and they took it.
I did not expect that. Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess it was
So
there just
it's
for the
a
take.
victimless crime if you ask me.
First come, first served. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think especially when you say it through like orchid eyes, there's like because we see Orchid at like basically every point in the story, just sitting there admiring the artwork and like how
Yeah,
there's so many legendary connotations to this. And everyone's like, yeah, that's cool, but can we have the gold?
yeah,
You know, it's
but
like, yeah,
she has no need for all these things, isn't it? It's Korean who has to go back and survive in the city, be a counselor and all that. So
I think it's more of a culture, like because if you think of it from Orchid's perspective, it's like, well, yeah, but this is my cultural heritage. This is who I am, and these people are just treating it like it's ripe for the taking. Which,
I mean,
okay,
does she get offended at any point? I don't think so.
I don't think she gets offended, no, but she's also not really sure who she is and why she is here.
Yeah,
She
she
doesn't
doesn't
know
care.
she's like Andy until way later.
Yeah,
Oh, she's fucking okay,
she's
fine. Yeah,
Elaine. What, she's Elaine? She's not just Andy, isn't it?
that Elaine's comment actually triggered the theory
So what is it?
that Orchid is the daughter of Rake and Solana,
Oh.
but I haven't seen any, you know,
Hmm.
I don't know, I have no idea.
I mean, Rake's child would have been a bit more noticeable, isn't it? By these priestesses and stuff. I mean, those are some of the most powerful people, Rake and Silana. So I don't think they would have taken her as just a daughter of a late welcome and all that. Maybe. So that's a good theory.
Yeah. Uh, God, there's a lot to talk about in this book. Just like I'm not
Is
sure
there
what exactly
more?
we haven't touched upon.
Okay.
We haven't really talked. Okay.
Hmm?
Well, for one, I need to profess my love for Topper because I fucking love Topper.
Oh, yes, yes, yeah.
Topper in this book is amazing, and I will not stand for it. Like, there are some extraordinarily good points where he's like spying, and he sees like, some go in, none come out. The lesson is,
Yeah.
don't go in.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I love this guy.
It's so rare to read characters like that and be interested, isn't it? Like you see some character doing stupid things, and then it's automatically assumed they're going to do that idiotic thing. But Topper walks off, and it is still interesting to follow his story.
The
Topper
other
is
thing
great.
which
Yeah,
I really like about Topper in this book, because I am me, is
yeah, yeah.
Topper's conflict with, because
Taya killing Lassie, and yeah,
he's very professional. He's very, um, you know, he's here for business, not pleasure, right?
yeah,
And then Taya steps into the picture and he goes fucking ballistic on her.
yeah,
Or like when Aragon mentions Lassine's name, like because he says that your like Aragon's was a very good choice for Malik, and then he said like most of my promotions were under Lassine, and then
yeah,
Topper remarks that like in our line of work everybody dies alone, which is absolutely poignant.
yeah.
God
I mean,
damn.
he reacts to that line, isn't it, when he says promotions were under Lassie, and Topper has, I know, Topper and Possum. Yeah. They were the only true supporters for Lassie at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less.
We're just moving on. Fine.
I mean, Possum is kind of missing in action since Topper is the clawmaster, and you know,
Are we going to see Possum again? I don't think so.
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, fine. Why wouldn't you tell me? I mean, he's there or he's not there. I mean, if you're
He's
going to
not
not
dead.
tell
No,
me, it
he's
means
not
that
dead.
he's going to come back.
He got healed at the end of the tournament. We see him get healed. It's fine. It's not like he's dead, but he's not the clawmaster anymore. Something so.
Right.
But yeah, like when Topper sees Taya, it just goes apeshit. Like,
Yeah.
you're like a bonus I've been wishing to pluck for a while now, and
Yeah.
yeah, all good things, etc. And like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you now because you killed my employer. Because it's not just like Topper is the clawmaster of the Empire, which is one thing, which is already a very important position that he needs to fill. But Lassine was more than just his friend, or like his mentor. He was clawmaster on Lassine for years.
Yeah.
He was Lassine's second for years. They were close, understandably
I
close.
mean,
And
he
he
went
even
over
went.
to the Imperial Warren thing, isn't it? Just
Yeah, he
for
was
her sake.
killing
Yeah.
Malik's claws for like an entire book's worth, and now he has to lead Malik's claws. And
Yeah.
handed him out of the field very good.
Yeah. Topper
He
is
was
amazing.
a fragment of bureaucratic oversight, and now he's like literally the part of the bureaucratic oversight. So
Yeah.
yeah, I put it one for Topper, except the Cool's bar is already empty again. So God damn it.
Well, just like Smiley's today, we are empty too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So So Taya gets chained in the basement.
Taya gets
Is
trained
she
in
going to
this.
like break out of that and
No,
do
no,
more
no. I
stuff in the
don't. We
future?
don't see her again
Right. Okay.
for the time being. It moves away from the
Yeah.
from
This was
Darujhistan.
just an outlier novel, is it? Among the six, we just
Yeah.
randomly show up in Darujhistan and we're back to Stratum and Coral and all that. Not Coral. We're not going back to Coral, isn't it?
No. Well, you know what we're going for the last book because in the name.
It's yeah, spoilers. We're going to
Yeah.
Assail.
But yeah, OSC delivers on a lot of foreshadowing done in Golden Hounds, which
Okay.
we've not quite talked about it enough. So I want to hear your thoughts on Torvald and Sarah a bit more
Oh, really?
because
Yeah,
I think you particularly like it.
yeah. I mean, you do too. So this is fun. The whole thing about Tessera started making more pots, and she goes and makes sure the gas is turned off for that night because she knows what's coming. She has seen the Moran's munitions and all that, right? So that's what she did. Save the city by just having more pots and turning off the gas.
Yeah, which by the way, like there's a scene where it cuts away to Sarah and like, oh, I sense she was working extra hard as if she sensed a
A need
shortage
for
of pots, a need for
yeah,
pots that like only she could answer. And
right.
then Dorvald comes along like, hi, wifey, yeah, so I was kidnapped by the Morans and I saved the city. Yeah, really did, you know. And so does this have to do somehow with like your non-paying job?
And he says, yes, yes, it does.
Well, see here. Well, at least I have a lot of money because I'm owed for a lot of pots. Like,
No, the thing is, he couldn't have come up with a more far-fetched story to tell her, isn't it? That he was kidnapped by the Morans and he spent the night flying on a coal and all that, and he negotiated the deal between, you know, right? So yeah, that was fun to read Tisserand Torvald again. And yeah, this is one couple I'm happy that none of them died. Yeah.
so before we move on, I think I mentioned last episode that I think this Sarah is the female equivalent of Kruppe.
Kruppe, yeah, you said that, yeah.
I said that, and I stand by that because. So let's talk Kruppe in this book before we move on to Barathon Scalara, which I want to talk about next. I think you do too. So let's talk about Kruppe in this book.
Yeah.
So Kruppe is off in the background because Kruppe is Kruppe's the
Steve's
eel.
character and all that, yeah.
Okay, Kruppe is Steve's character. That's the lame way of interpreting it. But yeah.
But it's nice to have him behind the scenes and be the puppet master of the whole of all the events, and not really see him directly unless he's like supplying drugs. So it was good. It was a good distance to keep Kruppe, I thought. Yeah.
Let's review what Kruppe does in this book really quick. So the tyrant escapes and he goes to get drunk with Rallic, but he doesn't get drunk because his bottle doesn't have anything in it apparently. Which is, I'm sure there's some like poetic significance to that. I haven't pieced together yet. He then steals the shard from Ragnarber.
Yeah.
He supplies Darujhistan with drugs.
Yeah.
He gets chased away by dogs in Maidentown.
I'm just thinking if Darujhistan was next to the tyrant, along with Baruch and Aman and the rest, he would have been even more powerful, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So without Vorkan and Darujhistan, all this happened. So
Yep.
right. Baruch should have been more careful.
Oh, agreed. I agree. So,
Yeah.
and I think we've talked about this before, but one of the theories I have about Kruppe, or we have about Kruppe, is he is the avatar or the incarnation of the river spirit Manning, right? The trickster spirit of the river.
Can I say what Steve told me when,
Oh God.
when I asked him about Kruppe? Oh, you're not
Go
aware?
on.
Yeah. So I just asked him that one of the theories is this and all that. And he said Kruppe will not be explained. So he just shows up and that's it.
Yeah,
Even
okay.
Kellenwood will not be explained by Cam. So the same way
Yeah.
Kruppe will not be explained. So and he doesn't need an
Yeah, I
explanation.
think in some manner you can view him as the protective spirit of Darujhistan,
Yeah, that makes a
Right.
lot more sense, especially after this
Rivi
book.
or not,
Yeah.
because there is this implication. There's a lot of like him, Vorkan says like to Studlock, who will stop this guy? Like, oh, he has to do it again. Oh God, not him. The tyrant seems to know him or recognize him.
Yeah.
He is obviously preternaturally aware of things,
Yeah.
even outside his control. Because
And he
we've been
has
over this
this,
before, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, go on.
He has this time bending, space time bending dreams.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's quite powerful.
We-
I'm agreeing with that.
We did go over the fact with Nif in our episode that Kruppe morphs the narrative in Golden Hounds and the Book of the Fallen entirely to make him look more powerful than he actually is. But even though
Yeah.
he is still very, very like, well, what we can say for sure about Kruppe is that he is the eel. He's very slippery.
Yeah.
He's extremely cunning and intelligent. the dreams are real. It's not something you made up, you know. And he probably did somehow maybe dodge the hammer, maybe not. It's not confirmed, but maybe. So Kruppe, even in this book, does things that he shouldn't be able to do if he were just a guy. You know, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, he's definitely not just a guy, but what type
Yeah,
of a superpowered guy is he? I don't think we'll find out.
yeah. I mean, I don't think so either. I'm just saying because if we accept that the Toru are a bunch of demons, what does that make Kruppe? You know.
Yeah, I mean,
So Tessera, I think, is similar because there's the reading that she does in all the hounds that foreshadows the Tyrant's rise and how she sees the end of her city.
yeah,
There's the pots thing. There is the gas, turning off the gas, um, and her overall like nonchalant attitude beyond just teasing Torvald. Like it's fine, we'll live.
yeah,
I will close the pipes and I will probably apply as much pressure to the necks of the gray faces as much to the pipe thing
yeah,
so
yeah.
they may turn off the gas. Like in her manner is very similar to Kruppe, like scuttling along, like I'm busy, I'm so busy. There's so many things to do.
Hmm.
So, do I think Sarah is like some bigger than life thing? No, I think Sarah is actually just a guy or
Yeah,
gal in this case,
yeah.
with perhaps some like preternatural talent, like what Filler has, for instance.
Mm.
But she's more than meets the eye for sure, which is I think a theme in the Darujhistan. So,
Yeah.
with that as the way, let's talk about Barrel Scholar, which I think you quite enjoyed this book as well.
Yeah, I mean, just I mean, there's hardly anything new between them, but Barathol is one of the important characters, isn't it? With all the
Hmm.
making the
I think you did write you did write your notes about chapter 16 that Barrel is Macbething.
Macbething, yeah. After handling the slivers of death, yeah. I mean, what else do you call it? He comes home and he's all, I have to wash my hands, I have to, clean under my nails and all that. So,
Yeah.
so that's Barathol. I was not very sure towards the end. Like they try to escape from the city because of all the attacks happening, and then all of a sudden he's given a carriage and he goes off to this villa and all that. I wasn't sure. Did I miss something in the middle? Like there was a scene missing or something? I wasn't sure.
There was a scene where like Krupp tells him that if he does his job, he'll get a villa,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
That
then
happens, and then he takes
and
up the
then
job and all that. Yeah.
and then Barrel goes to him like it sounds like a shack with like a wall missing. Have you seen it? I love that scene. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But yeah, no, I think
No,
it's just that not really anything more. Krupp
yeah.
delivering on his promises.
No, like they were fine. I mean, I'm happy that Chaur came back because Eben
Yes,
went inside the. And what
yes.
is with Rest? Is that such a tiny house that he can take only one board at a time? He has to kick out Chaur in order to take in Eben. Yeah, I mean he has a pet also, so yeah, probably understandable.
I love her. Race in this book is hilarious. Which, yeah, it's not anything new because race in general is pretty hilarious. But like,
Yeah,
god damn it, this book especially. I need a sign that says no borders, no trespassing on the grounds.
yeah, yeah. Stay away from the mount or something. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, this still animals. I'll not say the name. Devanand or something. Why does he go and fight the tyrant? Is it
Because
sort of
he's
like just
jagged.
he thinks it's a jagged. The tyrant is not jagged.
He is.
He is not.
Lim isn't. The tyrant is.
Hmm. So is that right?
He invokes Omdos Falak when he gets out.
Does he?
He
Wait,
it's
what?
essentially a spirit of it. Yeah, there's a scene. I don't remember. I've talked about this with Ro. Ask Ro. I don't remember.
Just tell me again.
But yeah,
How does he invoke Om Tusfulak?
there's a scene in which like Eben, I think, or Aya or someone like watches over the hole, the well in which he is,
Yeah.
and just like some like big thing, flash of light or whatever happens, and like sorcery is on the air and whatnot. Anyway, the
Okay.
point is, the Tyrant King of Darujhistan is a dragon that, using the mask, reincarnates the new bodies.
But how do you know
And
it's a
his
jagged?
essence.
I'm not convinced it's
For one,
jagged.
because tyrants are all jagged, and I think Mammoth even wrote that the Tyrant Kings were like jagged. So.
Okay, fine. So that's why he leaves the Aeseth and goes fighting, right?
Yeah. I mean, he even said like jagged. He says to the
And then he
tyrant's face
sees
like
you're
jagged.
just a human
And
and
then he
throws
just
him
felt like,
away.
yeah, just a human, just throws him away. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
after he beats the shit out of Pala, poor Pala.
and then he kills somebody else. Yeah, yeah.
I like Pala.
Right.
I feel bad for Pala.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Poor Pala. All right, yeah.
Do you want to talk about
Sorry.
a nice cameo by Soriko Kwam? I'm sure you like her too.
Yeah. Well, Swordiko is this very interesting individual that thrives in misdirection and stuff, and her charms and her seductions.
Yeah.
And then like along come these guys like the Ansi, the Malazans, Corian, or Alfred doesn't go along, and like the heels and like okay, hi, like where are we? Yeah, they're just thought, oh, okay, well, that's the first. I've never had this many men walk out on me before,
Yeah,
which is just it's great. Like
I know.
more
I
of
mean,
Sword to go, please.
I don't know. If you know, everyone in the shadow cult are extremely interesting, isn't it? Compared to all the
Hmm.
other cults we see, and there has to be some kind of entry bar, isn't it? You have to be some level
It's,
of crazy to be inside
yeah,
shadow.
yeah. I was gonna say, I was gonna say, there's like some, yeah.
Right. So that is Sariko. Tell me your, please, yeah, I'm ready to listen if you want to start talking about Leoman and why
Oh,
he is 1 in 1,000.
no, it's the mustache, you see.
Yeah, he is such a shameless. Yeah. But yeah, Kiska comes back to him, and that is a nice ending. Yeah. You know, I've completely changed my mind from his Bone Hunters thing to to here
He's a meter rat. He fits into the smallest cracks and escapes.
and escapes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Liam
Bone
under the
Hunters
feathers.
is a lot of fun, isn't it? Human out of
It's
feathers.
good.
Yeah.
It's great fun. Yeah,
So I was happy to see that
and
ending.
yeah, I like also the fact that like OST and the Bone Hunters converse a lot. You know, in regards to Liam, like, have you considered this? So yes, I have. And then like Tyson goes like, Liam
Yeah.
with the flails. You have a lot of nerve coming up to me. Well, what's in the past is in the past. What happened happened. And
Yeah.
also the bit about like Kiska being adamant to stay behind, and Liam was like, yeah, believe it or not, I've been here before. I've
Hmm.
been in this
Yeah. Yeah.
situation before. I was like, no, just leave them alone. No, I must bring them back. Like, God, okay, you know what? Fine. And yeah, so I like that
Uh,
too. I
are we
uh,
going to visit them
I
again?
like the mustache.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
Liam is fine the way he is. I want to see more of Kiska though, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Are they just going to
Oh,
stay?
Kiska is a claw now.
Oh, yeah. They're
Kiska's in the
supposed to
claw
like go back to
again.
Unta and help train for future claws. She's agreed to take on a job, so I assume Leoman will go with her.
No, I don't think so. I think he's gonna stay in the Shores of Creation until he gets bored.
How can you say that? No, he's going to Unta with her.
No, there's no way he's going to enter. No,
Then yeah, then she stays back then.
he's still he's still a Muslim war criminal. You know.
I know, yeah, it's really
No, I
impossible
think
for him to go on for. But then Malik is the merciful one. He might, forgive him. And they
he
were on
might.
the same side
Yeah, he
at that
might.
point of time. Like, why would
That is
Malik
true.
uh, pursue anything against Leoman?
Malik and Corbola were also on the same side at the time, and look how Corbola ended up.
But that was Corbola was in his way. Leoman is not doing anything. Leoman doesn't have such ambitions
I
or
think
anything.
Lehman doesn't
And
want
Corbola
to
would have been
bother.
killed
Yeah.
by anyone. Like, he was
Okay,
a.
that's true. That's really true. He was a dumbass. But
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think Lehman is perfectly content for the minute, just staying there,
Yeah.
being a
Yeah.
friend with Maker and Chorus and stuff.
And
He
bragging.
even says as much to Kiska, he just wants peace. And bragging, yeah.
That was nice, yeah. The way he stays back and she sees that, he actually looks at peace and all that. Yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Which
maybe they're
is kind of a theme with Cam's characters. Liam and Bassam. They just want to be left alone, and the world keeps coming after them, stuff like that.
and they actually find some resolution in it, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
In a way, I think Ivan's character in the last one, Stonewielder, even he
Hmm.
reaches that, isn't it? He also reaches some level of peace after being persecuted
Yeah.
by the
Yep.
Storm Riders and all that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, the
it's nice to
writers.
have. He does give a lot of nice, good endings.
He does.
Yeah.
Even Relish, he had some good ending, which you didn't like because you're lame.
Uh, if you want in this book, I was not happy that Ralik and Vorkan are just, they're just back after all those things, and it's
Really,
like nothing happened. Yeah,
really. Okay.
yeah, yes,
Well,
really.
I like Relic in this
Yeah,
book.
I like Ralik. I
We
like
already went
Vorkan.
over the what you need is balls,
Scene. Yeah, yeah, we did
line,
that.
but
Yeah,
I like Detective Relic in this book. He's great. It fits his
yeah,
character
yeah.
to the point where like Topper even thinks he's the eel. You remember that scene?
Topper thinks
Where
Ralik is
Topper
a
meets
heel.
Ralik to go parley in the Phoenix Hood.
Yeah. Okay. I think I've
It's like,
forgotten some specific.
I don't know, I like this. No, it's just Topper follows Ralik through the rooftops. He goes to Phoenix Inn, and it's like, yeah, we're brought here by circumstance. If you want to meet me across
Okay,
bar,
yeah.
Cross the bar, yeah.
It's a temple and it's a bar, yeah.
Also, it's often easy to forget that Ralik spent a good part of like 2, 3, 4 years in like the outhouse.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I have nothing against Ralik. Ralik is fun. So,
Mhm.
did really got anything. I was happy to see
Do you
Stunny
have-
for
yeah.
a small cameo. Stunny and Harlow.
Yeah, that's true.
Tiny cameo, but it just adds, it makes it like Darujhistan. And
Yeah, it makes it
why?
more real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Whether,
Go on.
no, I'm just happy to see Stunny and Harlow back. So, but like nothing really happens. Even Bellum Norm shows up and tells
Yeah.
Tessera to go to safety or something.
I mean, even Corsa appears in Summer like there's like earlier in the book.
Unnamed,
Like,
tableau with the
well, they are unnamed. Yeah,
witch.
okay, fine.
Yeah.
They're unnamed witch and like unnamed giant, like 7 foot tall with a flint sword. Excuse me.
It could be Casa, could be someone else, some unknown mysterious figure. We can't say.
Definitely, for sure. Yeah.
So that made me very excited. I thought Casa will be a character in this book. Unfortunately, no.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should wind up.
Okay.
No, you have more?
No, I'm mostly done. I think I
Right.
said everything I wanted to say. The only question I didn't answer is, well, what did they do with Frank, and if they had any fisticuffs, and what the deal with the
Fisticuffs.
pickle segule
Yeah.
is. Fisticuffs.
Oh, the pickled segule, yeah. So they're just literally pickled to preserve them against, fresh segule attack. So that was, I don't know. I found it sort of ridiculous that, they just kept in pickle, in vinegar. They're just like literally in vinegar. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun. But at least we get an answer because in Told the Hounds we see these jars and it makes no sense. At least we get some, I wouldn't call it sense, but at least we get an answer
About what exactly?
that they were kept
I
there
didn't get to
for.
that.
No,
Oh yeah, it's the segule. Yeah.
the reason why they're present, those pickled jars of segule. So, right? Is there anything more?
Oh boy. I think in the interest of brevity,
Yeah.
I think we should probably wind up.
Yeah, I know.
There was, where the fuck would there is a quote like in the interest of brevity. I'm gonna be like, where was that? Oh god.
About what?
There's a quote about brevity, like I don't know if it's OC or some other book. I remember reading it.
God
recently.
grant me brevity or something. Or brevity, Kruppe craves for brevity. That one.
That's Gardens of the Moon, not that. Hang on. Oh, it could be Bone Hunters actually.
What does it say?
I don't fucking. Oh god damn it! I don't remember. I don't remember the scene. So help me God. Oh god. Oh god.
Take your time.
Oh
It's okay.
god. Oh god. Well, there's also the quote from Hood in The Crippled God, where like I recently have been taught a lesson in brevity
Mm-hmm.
because he said the rake have to be considered, and the rake cut his head off. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Lesson in brevity.
Son of darkness. I have reconsidered. Yeah.
I don't remember the goddamn. Oh my god. Okay, I don't
This is
remember what it is.
extremely ironic, isn't it? You're you're trying to find a quote on brevity.
I'm not exercising brevity right now. I'm very sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh
You
yeah,
want to,
yeah.
like-
No, it's Cotillion. It's Cotillion talking to dragons. Yeah.
And what does it say?
In the interest of they talked about why Cotillion wouldn't free them immediately, and like I think Ampelas asks him, "You fear we will devour you," and then he says, "Oh, in the interest of brevity," and I understand that your kind delight in brevity. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
So in the interest of brevity, we should wrap up right now.
I think so. Yeah. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you, Lee.
Thank
I
you,
hope
Maura.
you had fun revisiting your second favorite novels.
I did. It was very nice.
Yeah, and maybe we will revisit Justice Segule at another point if
Maybe.
you want to. Yeah. All right. So good night.
Are you well?
Bye.
We'll see you next time. Yeah.
Yeah.